Brandy Baxter. She's a speaker, financial coach, Air Force veteran, and author. Brandy is the owner of Living Abundantly, where she coaches families to shift their mindset and bring future goals into present reality. Brandy is an accredited financial counselor, a financial fitness coach. She has a BA in communication and MS in management, and is a certified executive coach who is currently pursuing her doctorate degree in strategic leadership. She is the author of the book, The Three Little Divas, Reach Your Money Goals in 3 Steps Before You Huff and Puff and Blow Your Next Paycheck Away, a book about 3 sisters and their money habits. In addition to serving her community by providing financial education, Brandy is very involved in her local veteran and military community. She is co-founder of At Ease Texas, a nonprofit organization that organizes peer groups for women in the military community. She is a veteran of the United States Air Force, a spouse of an Air Force veteran, and strives to be a servant leader in her community. And all of those things are very, very true. I had the pleasure of meeting Brandy in person last year. Was it last year? Last year. And it's so funny because I was speaking at a workshop, and Brandy was attending the workshop. And the workshop was to provide peer mentorship to veterans in the criminal justice system. And so I just thought that was so honorable. That's part of some of the consulting work that I do for the National Association of Drug Court Professionals. And here Brandy was a TMC alum attending this workshop. And that just goes to attest the type of alum that we have in our network. And I'll tell you this is not the first time that I ran into a TMC alum at one of those workshops. So it was really cool to meet you there and to learn about. And then that's where I learned about all of the other awesome things that she's doing in her personal life on top of being a wife and a mom. So the floor is yours. I am ready for these tips.
All righty. Well, thank you, Talisa, for this opportunity. Thanks for considering me to even share something that a lot of people don't always feel comfortable talking about. So my goal for tonight is to make sure you all have fun. My goal is also to make sure that you all learn something, but more importantly, my goal as we prepare to leave is that you will take away some actionable tips. No one wants to sit through a lesson or a training and not take anything away. So those are my goals that I am striving for. I do want to let you all know that I have dual monitors. So if my eyes are kind of going all over the place, I promise you I'm okay. It's just the dual monitors. And I can see you all in my screen, and I'm going to open chat too. So if you want to send me a comment, you can do so. Or if you want to just wait until the end, that's fine. I know this content really well, so if you also want to interrupt me, that's okay. I will not be offended. Whatever works best for you. Let me pop open my screen so I can get the chat open. That way I won't miss any of your comments. Okay, for some reason I can't get it open. All right, but you all see the screen clearly. We're going to jump right in. So the title of our content for tonight is 5 tips to COVID-proof your holiday. And while we all are probably so tired of hearing COVID, it's a reality, especially when, you hear people in top positions saying, we should not get together for Thanksgiving. And everyone's like, no, I don't want to hear that. And so you think about, wow, right after Thanksgiving is Christmas. So what will that look like for everyone? So tonight I want to focus on a couple of things. First is Christmas in July. What in the world is that? Second, I want to focus on how to create a holiday budget. And then thirdly, what about COVID? Like really, what about COVID? So we're going to talk about that. When you leave here, you'll have 5 tips that you can take with you to help prevent or to help prepare rather for a COVID-proof Christmas. So the first thing is Christmas in July. You all are probably wondering, why would she even put that as something to think about? Well, the reason I put that is because if you really think about how we plan for Christmas, you should actually have Christmas on your brain as early as June. And so the last 5 days of June is a really good time to start thinking about what happened your last Christmas. How did the spending go in that last Christmas? Were you happy with your purchases? Did you overspend? All of those things are really important to think about when you are coming into the very end of June. Plus, June 25th gives you exactly 6 months before Christmas when you can start developing your savings plan. Then when you get to the month of July, you want to start thinking about, okay, who do I actually want to buy a Christmas present for? Maybe you bought a Christmas present for someone last year and you don't have to buy one for them this year. So kind of start thinking about who are the people you want to really start, you want to buy Christmas presents for. Once you gather everyone that you want to buy a Christmas present for, take that list, budget or estimate how much you might want to spend on them, and then take that amount and divide it by 6. Once you come into July, you're going to make your first deposit into a Christmas savings account because you said, here's my Christmas budget. I think I want to spend this amount. Let me break it down into smaller pieces. That helps make it a lot more manageable. Next, you're going to look at the month of August. What do you start doing in August? Well, August is one of my favorite times of the year because it's back to school savings. So let's say you've got a friend who you're not super close with, maybe she's a coworker and you want to get a nice gift. Toward the end of August, early September, that's when all of the stationery goes on sale. So your journals, your fancy ink pens, all of that stuff, buy it on a discount in the month of August. Also, your school supplies are also on sale in August. And so let's say you want to just maybe get some colored pens or some Sharpies. All of that stuff is on sale. And most states now have tax-free weekend. So yet another opportunity to take advantage of a saving. So don't forget, each month you want to continue making your deposit. So you're going to make your deposit into your Christmas account in August, and you're going to make your deposit in September. What are you going to start doing in September? Well, September is when you start thinking about your DIY. So if you're anything like me, I like to do at least one DIY present. Usually I DIY my teachers for my kiddos. The teachers usually get a DIY present. So I start thinking about that in September. What do I want to do this year? One year I made handmade soap. One year we did handmade lotion. So what do I want to do? Well, in September, I start looking on Pinterest. I start looking online. What are some fun, crafty activities that I can use to get the kids involved and something that's unique for the teachers? So start looking in September for any DIY projects you might want to make. Also, DIY projects are great if you have folks that are not on your financial list. Maybe you're not going to buy them a monetary gift. Maybe you want to do a little DIY for the folks in the neighborhood or the hair salon or the barbershop. So this is the time to start thinking, what kind of craft can I do? Then we roll into October. So the other thing is some of the items that you might want to purchase for your Christmas list can also go on sale in September around Labor Day. Now, once we get to October, there are like zero sales because everybody is preparing for upcoming Black Friday in November. But this is what I encourage people to do. Start looking at the prices of the items you want to buy, because October, right until the middle of October, is when the prices are generally at their regular price. Anything after like this time of October going toward the end, the prices are starting to get marked up. Because why? They want us to believe that we're really saving at Black Friday. And so if the last 30 days right before Black Friday, the price has been so high, you might forget to pay attention to like, wait a minute, but 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was $29.99. Now it's $49.99, and you want to sell it to me for $39.99 as if I've gotten a discount. So I start paying attention in October. And if I feel like something's a good deal, I buy it early. In fact, I do my Christmas shopping all throughout the year. I have a secret place where I hide all the presents and I shop throughout the year. So October is a really good time to start paying attention to the prices. That way, come November, you're not experiencing sticker shock because you think you're getting a deal and you're really not. Now, speaking of Black Friday and deals, November is usually when people get crazy. The pressure is on. Come November, you've got all these people, you're caught up in the holiday spirit. Now you're like, oh, I got to add Susie to my list. I've got to add Johnny to my list. And so it gets crazy. Well, one of the things that's important to remember with Black Friday is a lot of the non-advertised items make fantastic gifts. Target is one of my absolute favorite stores on Black Friday. Everyone's going in there trying to grab the stuff that's been advertised. I'm looking for all the fun little things that are just low prices but are in stock because it's Black Friday. Well, here are a couple examples. Holiday ornaments. If I'm not doing a DIY, I always can find some really fun holiday ornaments to give to the teachers. And it's simple Sharpie. My kiddo's name and the year makes a great teacher gift. So when everyone else is being crazy looking for the other stuff, I'm looking for those little special Christmas related items that are on sale because it's Black Friday. Also, I'm finalizing my Christmas list. Come November, I'm usually taking folks off the list because I realize, wait a minute, the list has gotten too long and I don't want to spend all that money. So November is when I start locking things into place. Also, making my deposit. So then here comes December. And once we get to December, first week of December, I'm making all the DIY projects. First of all, I want to make sure that they work and that everything comes together nicely. So we're making the DIY projects early. Also, the kids are going on to school break, usually the same week of Christmas. So I want to have them ready right up and before it's the last day of school. So December, we're making sure we have all our DIY projects done. I wrap the presents that I've hidden away throughout my house. And then we usually put our tree up in November. So I started gradually bringing out gifts and the kids are like, where did this come from? Where did that come from? But because I've been shopping all year, it's easy for me to do that. So December is also the first 2 weeks of December. If not sooner, I try to mail any gifts that I want to mail. I have a sister with two of my nephews and they live in another state. And so we try to mail them their presents as early as possible. So the first tip, Christmas in July, if you start thinking, wait a minute, I need to be ready for Christmas as early as July, you can spread it out over the time and avoid that time crunch, that money crunch, and really reduce a lot of the stress associated with kind of what can happen around the holiday season. All righty. Now, don't forget, guys, I am not able to see your chat box. So if you need to say something, use the little thumb up icon, and then I'll be able to see you and can chime you in if needed. So you all are probably thinking, well, what is Brandy talking about? Christmas in July? That makes no sense. Even though I've given you the roadmap, you may still be skeptical. That's okay, because you don't have to take my word for it. I have an expert. So on your screen, you see the lyrics to the song, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. Well, the first thing it says is, watch out, don't cry, don't pout. And then the song goes, I'm telling you why. Santa's coming to town. I want to draw your attention to the second paragraph where it says he's making a list, checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty and nice. And then it says Santa is coming to town. So my second tip for you is make a list. One of the things that's important to remember when you make a list is ask yourself, how much can I really afford to give away? Because technically a gift is something you give without any expectation of payment. So before we get caught up in the holiday and the emotions of it all, you got to start saying, how much can I really, if I were to just give you this money, can I afford to give you that? Keeping in line with what Santa says, you want to make sure that your list includes everyone. Now, at the very beginning, when you start making that list, it's fine to put everyone on there, teachers, acquaintances, service providers, neighbors, coworkers. You want to just kind of do a brain dump, because what you don't want is to come to the end of this in like the beginning of December, and then you're like, oh, I forgot Auntie so-and-so. Oh man, I forgot this. So kind of start doing that brain dump and put everybody on your list. Then once you make the list, rank them. Top of the list, who's getting a gift? Top of the list every year is my husband. Next to him are my kiddos. After that, everybody else is negotiable. So you want to start ranking the list to say, these are the non-negotiable. These folks are going to get presents from me. Then you kind of write an idea of what you might want and start doing that research. How much will this cost? Remember, we talked about starting to think about Christmas as early as June. This is what you do in the month of July. You're making that list, thinking about what you might want to purchase and how much will it cost. That will give you a really good idea as you are preparing your budget. Speaking of budget, here is what a budget can look like. Well, here's what the spending guide can look like. If you look on the left side of the screen, right over here, you see I have the who. These are all the people on the list that I thought of. Then their gift ideas, and then here, how much it might cost. These are rough estimates. I notice I put here store name or URL. I am an online shopper. And so I like to kind of say, where did I see this item and approximately at what price? This also helps when it comes to Black Friday. I'm not thinking I got a deal when I know 6 months ago or 2 or 3 months ago, I saw it at a totally different price, right? So that's a great way to start your holiday shopping guide. Put everybody's name on the list, what you might want to get them, how much it might cost. Which takes us to our third tip, which is set a budget. So it's not just enough to say, okay, I'm going to buy these. It's important to know who the person is, what you're thinking about buying them, but then also you want to put the approximate amount. One thing that slips some of us up, especially if we're hardcore and we've already prepared our budgets, sometimes we can get caught up when we forget tax and we forget shipping. So if you notice here on this template, I've got a column that says purchase price with tax. Here in Texas, our tax is 8.25%. And if you're not paying attention, that tax will sneak up on you. Then not to mention, I have my sister and my 2 nephews that live in another state. Shipping cost. Even to the point of like, sometimes I'll order pictures from Shutterfly and send them, I still have to pay for that. So tracking everything to include the tax will give you a more realistic picture of what your budget is. And you can use a guide like the one on your screen to actually keep track. But here's a trick that I'm going to tell you guys. You see, I've got like everybody on that list, right? Well, once I hit my threshold, if you look right here, you see that this total amount is $1,115. Well, let's just say I don't want to spend that much for Christmas, right? Well, what I do is, since this list is already in rank order, I come down who I want to purchase for, and then I draw a red line. Everybody below the line does not get a gift. Everybody above the line, they made the cut. So don't be afraid to do that. At the end of the day, these are your dollars. No one can tell you how to spend them, but we've got to start having the tough conversation first with ourselves so that we can have a better stress-free Christmas. So tip 1, we needed to think about Christmas in July, even as early as June if possible. Tip number 2 was to make a list. You want to find out who are the people that you really want to buy gifts for. Tip number 3 was to set a budget. So I told you all about my expert, and he says make a list and check it twice. So let's talk about checking it twice. Couple of things that we often forget with Christmas is all the extra, right? It's easy to think about the gifts only, but if you're like me, I've got young kiddos, and I won't lie, I'm a kid at heart. I love Christmas lights. So you've got to think about that. Are you buying new Christmas lights this year? Are you buying new yard decorations? All of that stuff. Remember to make a list of all of those things that help make Christmas fun. The ornaments, the tree trimmings, decorations in the house. Are you going to cook Christmas dinner? Even if no one comes over, are you going to do a traditional Christmas dinner, a non-traditional holiday dinner? What are your plans? Put that in your budget, because what happens if it's outside of your regular grocery shopping expenses, it's going to feel like a burden. And we don't want Christmas to feel like a burden. You want to then take a look at your list of everything and add that up so that you won't have any surprises. If you know that you're going to do a meal for maybe 1 or 2 other families, put that in the budget so that there are no surprises. Now, what do you do if what you want is beyond your budget. Well, just like we did with our list, you have to draw the line. So maybe you're not going to have ham and turkey. Maybe you're just going to have one meat, or maybe you're not going to have meat at all, but you have to be very honest with yourself and with your loved ones. So first thing is you want to think about Christmas as early as July, like really full on start planning for Christmas as early as July. That gives you a lot of time to do a lot of fun things, to buy presents that you want at a better price. Step two, or tip two rather, you want to make that list. And tip three is you want to set the budget. And tip four is you want to check it twice. That's checking your list and or checking your budget twice. So the next part of the song, he says, you want to find out who's naughty or nice. There are some folks, believe it or not, during the holidays who are not so nice. And a lot of times they come masked, right? They look like they're nice, and then at the end, they're not really there to help us. So I want to draw your attention to some folks that you might want to avoid if possible. Again, when I say these items on the list, these folks, this is a judgment-free zone, but based on my professional experience, I know that these types of people are not in the business to help you. And so if you can avoid them, do so. First person on your list is the loan shark. Don't borrow money from a loan shark for Christmas. Not necessary. That's naughty, naughty, naughty. Payday lenders. Do not go to a payday lender to spend money for Christmas. It's much easier to tell your family and friends no than to be in debt to a payday lender. Maxing out your credit cards. There is nothing so important that you have to max out your credit cards for one day out of a year. If you cannot save for it leading up to Christmas, then it must not have been that important to you. Skip paying other bills. Do not jeopardize your living arrangements, your utilities, or even your vehicle trying to pay for Christmas. Don't skip out on other bills because you want to have a fun, fantastic Christmas. Pawning your items. Some people will say, oh, I'm going to just take this to the pawn shop and get some money and then I'll go back and buy it. Never guarantee that it will be there. Don't do it. And lastly, any illegal activity. You don't need to do anything illegal, and I will not go into details because we all know what illegal means. These are naughty things, naughty, naughty things to do. But just like the song says, he's going to find out if you're naughty or nice. So here are some nicer things to do. First thing is online shopping, and look for the ones that have free shipping, because like we talked about a moment ago, that will blow your budget. If you didn't plan on shipping costs, it will blow your budget. So definitely look at the online shopping with free shipping. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you've already got that. Walmart is starting some kind of free shipping membership program, which means Target won't be far behind. And usually during the holidays, especially in the midst of COVID, I've already seen the commercials. They're trying to capture our consumer dollars. So they're offering all sorts of freebies. Start paying attention. Site to store for pickup of your gifts. If you find a retailer that you want and they don't give you the option for free shipping, maybe you have to be a member or whatever, like Walmart or Kohl's, you can always do site to store and pick up your gift and get free shipping. Have everything come in on the same week, and then you just drive around and pick up everything without paying any shipping costs. Sending gift cards. If one of the things that's been really helpful for me is with my sister and the nephews being out of state, you can buy gift cards online, you can have them mailed directly to her, and it cuts down on the cost, and you don't have to pay weight like you would with a regular gift because a gift card is super lightweight. So that's one option. And then finally, coupons or discounts. A lot of times, some of the stores would do price match guarantee, or if you are part of a membership club like Costco or whatever, you may be able to see, oh, for members only type of pricing. You definitely want to pay attention for coupons and discounts. Oh, and then this one is finally Black Friday shopping. So even though I've been warning you all to pay attention to the prices, there's something crazy about Black Friday. Like, some of the things that are not advertised are usually the better deals. So if you are at the point and you're like, I know this is going to be a good price, especially if you see it advertised at a price and you are sure it's the best price, go forward. There is nothing wrong with Black Friday. Just don't get carried away. Amazon is sneaky, especially if you have Amazon Prime. My shopping cart gets all kinds of stuff, and then it's like, whoa, slow down. So those are some things to consider for your nice list when you are trying to figure out the best way to maximize your dollars, especially during COVID. All right, so tip number one, start thinking about Christmas as early as July, hopefully in June if possible. Tip number two, make a list. Tip number three, set a budget. Tip number four, you want to check it twice. Check that list and check that budget twice. And then finally, the fifth tip is find out or consider who is naughty or nice. Avoid the naughty, stick with the nice. So you're probably wondering, okay, Brandy, that's all well and good. You told me how to manage the money, but what about COVID, right? Like this is real. It's not gone yet. What are we supposed to do? Well, the first thing, like my little smiley guy wants to remind us, is wear a mask. Don't be embarrassed to go around your family and wear a mask. COVID is still real. And in our county, the numbers are going up. So you want to wear a mask. But you might also want to think, how can I experience the holiday season without having to physically be there? So here are a couple of ideas. First thing first, don't mail the gifts if they cost more than the item, right? Some of us may have experienced job loss or financial loss, and you're like, well, let me send some gifts. Well, don't send it. One, with COVID, everyone's going to be sending gifts. So if it costs you more to mail it than the item itself, it's just simply not worth it. It's going to get lost in the mail or delayed anyway, so it's not worth it. I mentioned this earlier, handmade gifts. Consider handmade gifts, like, drawings from the kiddos or pictures. You can order pictures off from your local grocery store, not grocery store, your like Walgreens or CVS. They can print pictures for like less than 50 cents, and you can turn those into gifts. Consider a gift exchange with a set dollar amount, right? Let's say you have a large family and you all are geographically located. Like most of my family is here. We can drive to each other's houses. So we set a dollar limit. You buy a gift for one person, but it can't be more than, say, $20. One, that cuts down on having to buy gifts for everybody, and it makes it a lot easier on my pocketbook. Keep in mind that every dollar you spend today is hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, that you cannot spend tomorrow. That's due to what's called compound interest. We can talk about that another time, but compound interest is money magic. It's how your money works for you. And then the other thing is consider cost sharing. Let's say you have siblings and you want to get a big ticket item for your parents. Rather than one family or one person purchasing the item, everyone come on in and say, hey, mom and dad, we bought you this new flat screen TV, but we all bought it. Kind of do some of that cost sharing. Another tip is you want to plan for the next year. I've shared this probably more times than you all care to know, but start buying those gifts throughout the year. At the end of the Christmas season, like the very next day, because usually Target and Walmart, they will put everything on sale that's left over. I go and buy wrapping paper. I buy old Christmas decorations. Everything's on sale and they need to clear the inventory. So automatically start thinking about the next year. Look at the budget that you spend this year and make a plan for next year. How do you want to do it? Some folks start January. I'm going to save a set amount as early as January because I'm already thinking ahead to what I want to do for the holidays. You can join a savings club at a credit union. That's where you save the money throughout the year and they'll pay you a little bit of interest, kind of like free money at the end for letting them hold on to your money. And then last but not least, I always emphasize focus on your values. I don't think we should do anything that contradicts our values. And I think that as you're building your budget, you want to always make sure that it fits in line with what's important to you. Few more ideas is have the conversation now, right? It's October. Start having the conversation. You know what, Talisa, you didn't make the list. I still love you, but with COVID and hubby lost his job and we're trying to save money, I'm not doing a Christmas gift. Now, in the back of my mind, I may say, but I'm going to send you a Christmas card to let you know I care, but I'm not spending lots and lots of dollars. And like, really, you can fold a sheet of paper in half and make a homemade card and deliver it. Also, you want to maybe buy some gifts for after the holidays. When I was younger, my mom was a single parent. We would actually do our Christmas shopping after Christmas when the items were on sale. She would give us one gift before Christmas, and then we could go to the stores after Christmas, and pretty much whatever we wanted, we could pick out if it was still there, obviously. But it was an interesting way for someone who was on a budget to really kind of maximize the money. Know what the store return policy is. You don't want to buy something and then you get stuck with it. Although with COVID right now, a lot of the stores are extending their return policies, but just be careful with that, especially with online shopping. And then lastly, even if it's a good deal, and I have to tell this to myself all of the time, even if it's a good deal, if I cannot afford to give this money away, then I cannot afford to buy the gift. Because at the end of the day, a gift is money that I am giving away without expectation of payment. Okay. So the last line of the song says, "So be good for goodness sake." One of the things you want to do is remember these 5 tips. First, start thinking about Christmas as early as July, if not sooner. 2, you want to make a list. Make that list of all the people you plan to buy gifts for. Just kind of do a brain dump, get it out there. But once you make that list, start setting a budget. How much am I going to spend on each person? What ideas do I have for the items? Tip 4, you want to check it twice. Check your list twice and check that budget twice so that you don't have any surprises come in December. And then number 5, you want to ask if it's naughty or nice. Am I using a service or a retailer or a vendor or an option for money for Christmas? Is it naughty or is it nice? All righty, everyone, that will conclude my presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. There's my contact information on there if you want to reach out again. But at this time, I'm going to stop the sharing. And we're going to have a little conversation about what you all saw in the presentation, if there are additional questions, comments, or feedback. Talisa, it's up to you if you want to record this part. It's not required. It's just something, since we're in a small group,